Hey guys, Simon again with Trade and Perform Coaching. Want to review today's trade, and just do a quick compare contrast from the price action from today versus what we anticipated from the trade review that was posted last night. So before I say that, past performance is not indicative of future performance. You can lose your ass trading futures. Don't ever forget it. Make sure you know what you're doing. It is not worth blowing up an account. I can't stress that highly enough, right? And secondly, so let's jump in. So the first thing that we emphasized in the overnight video, if we do not trade below yesterday's low and we don't hold below yesterday's low, it's not bearish. And as a matter of fact, what we wanted was that balloon underwater effect of getting below the low, popping back up, right? Generate additional fear, and then pushing up where? Initially 55 to 52.75, and then followed by 58 to 60, right? That would have been a pretty nice pop as it was. And what did we end up getting? Well, pre-market we came into 52.75, 55, and we rejected out of it. When we opened back up, we rejected out of the 52.75 yet again, right, and roll down, unable to even test actually Wednesday's low, much less Globex lows afterwards. Buyers are in control. We shifted to slow chop, right? So this told us right away when we couldn't get past 50% of this engulfing candle, right, which told us that buyers come in and were in control. Tick was overall net positive, very few negative ticks, right, that we wanted to look for a breakout scenario. We moved over to our, in this area, we had a feeling that we could roll up to 60. So the day was successful, right? If you're on the, all of it's aggressive, so on the uber aggressive side, if you took first touch of the zone, right, you were able to achieve your 2 points. Mission accomplished. Zone location, very well placed, right? And zone location well placed. And you were able to achieve your 2 points for the day. Good enough, right? Next we were saying, well, maybe we could break out. We took a little bit of a different look at it from a different time perspective, and I'm going to go to the 24-hour here. We identified from our 24-hour that we were in uptrend since, well, basically out of London. We've been trending up, right? And we noted here, and I said that if we could close above this 53.75 on a 15-minute bar, that if we could get a quick backside test, that's what the target was, that we would have a opportunity to rotate up towards 60, which is the upside target for today, right? So as you can see, we did not on any of the time frames get the appropriate backside test we were looking in. Again, to minimize, that's a momentum trade. You've got to be spot on. It just didn't set up perfectly, but the read on the PA was correct, and the reason why that's valuable is because if you're sitting here going, oh, well, you know, I'm bearish, and you can't read that the bearishness is kind of dissipated from the day, right? You're going to be sitting here going, I've got a short, we're going to retest the lows, right? And all those people who did that are painfully covering all the way through here. So there's two sides to a successful trade, right? One is getting on the right side and getting paid. The other side is avoiding the wrong side and not donating to those who are on the right side of the trade, right? Last, my target was to get a short out of this, specifically 23.59.50 is what I'm shooting for, and it's just taking too long to get there. It's already in the middle of New York lunch. I like to try to wrap it up before the middle of the day. It just hasn't happened, so I'm pulling the trade and coming back tomorrow. Tomorrow's non-farm payrolls, right? And I know the other part of the plan was that if we could have closed, see how we set a higher low here? So if we could have broken this 23.50 and then gotten a retrace back up with some type of tick divergence here, we would have given it a shot towards 23.44 down to 23.37. I don't think we would have had enough energy, and then we would have looked for the trap back in and the push back up. What I keep reiterating, and what's very important in my own trading and in your trading, did we identify proper locations? We did. That's part of the mission accomplished, right? We had good trade location. Last night we had good trade location as well, right? Did we identify the price action correctly? We did, both through our trending tools and just the visual price action, right? We knew this had to get busted in order to get lower. So no one's bearish, no one's getting run over in the process, right? And now the market has just generally run out of energy and won't get to our target. My guess is we kind of tag this right at the end of the day, which is too late for me. I don't want to try and get a reversal in the afternoon. The odds are against you. And we identify that tick was generally positive. So if you didn't get this trade, so this is where I want to go back to with y'all in the room, right? We identified multiple locations for possible longs, but the market didn't give it to us, right? We identified a possible location right up here for a long, right? Market didn't give it to us. And for our aggressive shorts, you had your clean first shot into the zone and a rotation down, right? So the way you got to translate that is you got to go, if your trade plan says, I don't short, right? So for less aggressive traders, you're going to go, I don't short. You've got to go and mark in your journal, I don't short. I didn't get a 10-point rotation down or a clean rotation to a clean area, or the price action I was looking for to get set up for a long side trade. Number 2, right? When I did identify a potential long, the setup was to get a a backside test off of this initial break right here on a 15-minute bar, not a 5-minute bar, to get a backside test. That backside test never came, so I did not get filled, right? And then my last piece was I was willing to short, if it's in your trade plan and you're aggressive, 23.59.50, and it just did not get there, and we're primarily in chop. So this is important because this is where I find almost all of my weaker traders have difficulty. They look at their end of the day and they go, I didn't make any money. This day sucked, right? And I look at it, and you got to look at it one, two ways. Either your process paid you and it set you up properly for a good trade, right? Or your process, so you either followed your process or you did not, right? If you got paid but you didn't follow your process, how are you going to repeat that tomorrow? If you followed your process and you just didn't get your setup, well, you get an A+, right? Because you'll be able to repeat that process tomorrow, and hopefully that'll result in money in your pocket, right? By the way, Ron, just to follow up while you're listening, NQ is still looking, admittedly, a little shaky here, right? There's no question about it now at this point. Where the 2 minutes is starting to roll over, the 5 is starting, and the 15 is threatening, which probably, if NQ rolls, will roll with ES as well. It'll be too late in the day for me to take the balloon underwater trade down here, but I would love to get the balloon underwater trade. So going back to the trade plan, right? You did everything you possibly could. If the reason I'm stopping trading at this point or this juncture is because I'm tired now. I've been focusing hard for 3.5 hours. I'm not a non-leverage trader. I'm a leverage trader. I want to make sure that I'm fresh and that I'm making good decisions. I find most of my mistakes come later and later in the day, and my emotional mistakes when things go against me, my tolerance for stopping and resetting and adhering to my trade plan, get weaker and weaker, right? All of this can be addressed through a proper journal, right? And so if you're running a business, again, right, if you're in the business of selling widget A, and widget A doesn't sell that day, no one closes shop and goes, my business is a failure, right? You may look at your process, you may look at your market, you may not, and you need to make sure that you have an understanding of everything that's going on. We went from a 30-point range to a total range of 23.44 to 23.58, right? That's 14 points. That's right within the average range of the day. Where was I trying to grab a short? Since I think shorts are more aggressive, I'm trying to grab my short just outside of that average range for the day, so that I have a way of getting a statistical edge and a push back in, right? The idea would have been shorts got trapped, pushed into the 59, 50, 60, which we identified reasons for why that was a key area in the room earlier, right? They're exhausted into that location, right? Notice we got no tick divergence into the high, right? And the primary categorization of the price action would be categorized as chop. This isn't going anywhere, which means if you make a trade call, you're going to have to call that perfectly. You're going to have the patience of a saint to make that work, right? And you're going to have to feel a compulsion or an understanding of, hey, if we're really coming back to test, which I think we could, right? You're really going to have to be able to stick it out. Like, and let me show you what I mean. Let's say someone was uber bearish here at 55 and they're a leveraged trader. Remember, that's what I do. I'm a leveraged trader, right? If I'm at 55 and I think we're coming to 37, what's the odds with leverage, or if you're a small trader, that you survive to 58, assuming you shorted 53. I shorted 52.50 pre-market today, right? That was my first trade, okay? And what was the odds I was going to survive and move to 58? And I can answer that question. It's 0. I'm not going to take on a full-size trade 6 points of heat. I have to be able to accurately, the more leverage you use, the more skilled you have to be in accurately placing that trade. So I want to bring this back around full circle, right? If you're a day trader and none of the trades fit your personal parameters, which should fit your personality, your psychological profile, your ability to bear risk, right? Those should all fit in place, and it should follow your trade plan. And if the market didn't fall into any of those categories today, but you were prepared to take any of those trades that set up, you get an A+. Come back and do that 100 times in a row, and it would be very hard to imagine that you would be down in your trading account and that you wouldn't be able to systematically increase both trade size and confidence moving forward, right? So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to open the room to questions. If anyone has any, I'll give it a minute, because otherwise it's sunny outside and pretty, and I do not intend to sit here and watch them tick it up and down 3 points the rest of the afternoon. I'll keep an eye on it. If they submerge it underwater and they give us the setup we discussed in the market preview, I'll come back. That's the only thing I'm really interested in at this point. Because shorting ES in the afternoon generally is not a profitable trade, particularly in the top third of the market. Questions? Skype, Twitter, well, conversation box, anywhere. Hey Dale, you're very welcome, man. Hope you had a great day. Okay. Well, good job, guys. I am out. I will see y'all. I'll see y'all later, either later today. I'll keep an eye on for my phone. If this thing actually starts to boogie on down, we'll see if we can't trap some late sellers on the downside. But I can't predict when they're going to show up. So I'll leave the room open and I'll leave the screens open, and we will put out a video tonight. Hey, you're very welcome, Randy. Good job today, everyone. See y'all.